What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Power Play with CJ. As many of you know, I'm really passionate about expanded women's roles in hockey and making hockey safe and place for people of both genders, and that's a huge thing. But as this doesn't pertain directly to sport, but the NBA has I think a few women refs. One of them, Lauren Holtkamp, refed the LA Clippers Cleveland Cavaliers game last night. Cleveland won their 11th, I think 12th in a row. LeBron's doing some big time things. They blew out LA. It was a pretty good squad, but Chris Paul, the Clippers point guard, was irked at a bad call that Lauren Holtkamp made, and said maybe this isn't for her. And the tweets hit the fan. Okay, they made Chris Paul sound like a sexist, and this is going to set women back. Bottom line, I can't tell you how difficult it must be for a woman like Holtkamp, who obviously has to be a great official to be in the NBA. And she's not Joey Crawford, so she's not the worst ref in the NBA. Trust me. I just think, looking at it from her perspective, she made a bad call. Chris Paul called her out on it. That's what it is. Becky Hellman, who's a San Antonio Spurs assistant coach, first women's assistant coach in NBA history, and former WNBA All-Star, said he's a competitor. That's what it is. There's no sexism here. If you're going to hold male officials to a high standard, hold the women officials to a high standard too. Otherwise, it's not fair to anyone. It's going to allow rumors of sexism to run rampant and build up more animosity there. She's obviously a great official to get there. She made a bad call. She's going to deal with it. That's how it works. And for this to become a sexist issue is absolutely ridiculous. And I'm not even knocking Holtkamp as a ref. I mean, the NHL has the best officiating in the world. I mean that sincerely. I mean, my right hand to God, I think that the refs in the NHL are the best in linesmen. They miss calls here and there. That's fine, but they're consistent. There is no Joey Crawford or Joe West, who's an umpire in baseball, and a freaking joke, or Ed Hockey in the NHL. That's one thing the NHL has done right. And maybe they should expand into women officials. I'd be all for that. I think a couple of the minor leagues have them. That'd be great for the game. But bottom line, you've got to look at holding people accountable regardless of their gender, and that's got to be a thing. And I think any person who has the same mindset I do of gender, involving everyone, has to show that if you're going to take the praise for doing it, you've also got to take the criticism when you screw up. That's life. That's not just sports. That's not just a gender issue. That's the real world. And I think she's a big enough person to admit, okay, you know what, I made a bad call, and this isn't sexism, and I think for the crucifixion of Chris Paul, I mean, let's lay off the guy. I don't think he said it to be offensive. I don't think there was sexism in his approach on it. And likewise, I think if a woman ref or lineswoman were to make the NHL and make a bad call, and she had to deal with the upset, that's fine. I mean, if Joey Crawford made this call, which he probably would have, because how much he sucks, we wouldn't be having this discussion. If Chris Paul said maybe this isn't for him, this wouldn't be a discussion we're having. So, I just think, again, look no further than right over my left shoulder for my opinion on women in hockey. It's Hillary Knight right there. So her and Cam Neely are the only two hockey players hanging on this wall. So that's how highly I think of her as a hockey player. And I think that speaks well. I mean, I think that's a microcosm, in my opinion, of women in sports, and why I think it should be on a more expanded level. So see what happens. Anyway, that's like sort of the Power Play with CJ on women officiating and the gender standards. Stay tuned for episodes for the season and beyond. Later, guys.